Hello everyone! Today I'm gonna show how to make DIY robe matching with last PJ set. Click on right corner have interested in. You can draw your own pattern and it's very easy to make. Without further ado, let's start. I will show the measurement we need with my oversized shirt. This is my waistline. You need the size of bust, neck circumference, length of neck to waist, armhole size, arm length, and desired robe length. Let's draw the pattern in a small scale version with my size. I'm in size 6 to 8, medium regular size. Let's go to the back bodice first. My bust size is 34 inches. 34 divided by 4 is 8.5, and I added 1.5 inches to loosen. So, my robe's bust size will be 40 inches. I'm gonna fold the center of back. That's why I need a quarter size of the bust. Draw 10 inch wide. The length of robe would be 34 inches, plus 3 inches of seam allowance. This sign means the folded line. My neck circumference is 16 inches, so divided by 4 is 4 inches. Mark 4 inches from the center and 1.5 inches down. Make a neck curve. This is the back bodice. To make the front, draw the same rectangle shape 10 by 34 inches. Mark 16 inches from the top and make the waistline. Mark 4 inches from the corner. And draw a diagonal line to the waistline. This is the front bodice. We need 2 panels of them. Let's move on to drawing sleeves. My armhole size is 18 inches. And I'm gonna fold it. So draw 9 inches wide, 20 inches down for sleeve length. We need 2 of them. About the sash, you can customize the width. Mine will be 5 inches wide by 30 inches long. We need this much of binding length, at least 80 inches long. I'm gonna do 8 inches by 80 inches long. It's okay to cut what's left over when you're done. It's always better to cut loosely, especially for the first time sewer. Let's cut the pattern from it. Seam allowance would be 1 inch except hemline. Seam allowance of the hemline will be 3 inches. Here are 1 piece of back, 2 pieces of front, 2 sleeves, sash, and binding. Let's get started sewing with a paper. Sew back and front shoulders right sides together. Next, sew the center of sleeve and shoulder line right sides together by flap seam. Fold the right sides together and sew the sleeve and sideline seams. About the binding, fold the binding in half and iron it. Attach the binding to front bodice and sew by flapper seam. This is the sash. Let's get into rear work. Sew back and front shoulders right sides together. I'm gonna finish the seam by flapper seam. If you have a serger, use it. The reason I finished the seam by flapper seam is it's very strong even after frequent washing and doesn't irritate the skin. Sew and open the seams and trim one side seam. Fold over the other untrimmed one and sew again. You can see the stitch on the right side. Next, sew the center of the sleeve and shoulder line right sides together by flapper seam. Fold the right sides together and sew the sleeve and sideline seams. I'm gonna do a new seam finish. It's like between flapper seam and bias binding. After sewing the finished line, trim one side and wrap over the trimmed one and stitch on the closest finish line. It looks like a flapper seam, but no stitches on the right side. You can do this only on thin fabric. I stitched armpits round not to be bulky when turned over. About the binding, fold the binding in half and iron it. Do straight stitches on the close finish line before attaching the binding to the front. Believe me, it will help make sewing easier. Attach the binding to front bodies and sew by flapper seam. After attaching, open the seams and trim the binding seams and fold over the front body seams on the trimmed seams and straight stitches on it. Binding is almost done. There is one more thing to do. Top stitch on the closest edge of binding necklines for preventing from stick out in a collar. You can also choose decorating stitch from your sewing machine. Fold twice of low hem and clip or pin in place, especially each of seam. And sew the hem of lobe. Free the flap edge, do double fold, and straight stitches for sleeve edge. Let's make a sash. Fold the right sides together and straight stitches all around the seam. leaving the gap. Trim up the excess and turn it inside out and close the gap. I'm gonna stitch all around the sash again to give structure. Last step is making loops. Find small pieces of scrap, cut it in a rectangle. Fold, center, and left right sides, and sew it. Adjust the width of the loop to make sure fit the sash. Mark your waistline and sew with the loop downward first. Trim it. And put loop upward and sew. You can hide the row seam under the loop like this way. Do the same on the other side. Here's my robe. Very comfortable to wear and easy to make. You can make a couple robe or a family one too. Enjoy it. Thank you for watching.